The word power has long been associated as a negative, particularly for women, particularly in the leadership space as well. And it's something that I've been doing a bit of research in line with the book of the same topic that I've been writing. And there's these two different approaches to power. There is the traditional, more masculine power over, which we've seen as a form of dominance. And of course, if we've been the subject of that, then that will give a negative connotation to our relationship to power. But there's also this power from within, this power with and through others, that I think is much more of a feminine version of power. And of course, by that, we mean we're all in this together, we're united around a common goal, rather than I must win at the cost of you, power over dominance model. I believe this power from within, it's not loud, it's not forceful, yet it makes such an impact, and it's something we can leverage. And yet, particularly for women, particularly in the leadership space, we've been taught to not appear too powerful and judged differently in that space. The definition, if we look at the dictionary, the definition of power is a genderless one. The dictionary talks about it being able to move with great force, to change or influence the course of events, the ability or capacity to develop future success. And if we look at the meaning of the word, right back to its origins, so it comes from a Latin word potentia, meaning potential. And there is this relationship between power and potential. We all have the power when we tap into our power to unlock our potential. And from a physics perspective, there is almost like the force field of potential power that then goes on to move an object. It's the charge, the energy mass of a gravitational field. If we realize that inner power that we all have, it contributes to us achieving our potential. And yet, if there is a negative connotation with power, or we see it as a masculine rather than a feminine, so often in the leadership space, many women can pull back from this notion of power. And yet it's key to us making an impact. In this respect, I see it as a presence, an inner knowing, a groundedness. It is something that you feel from people before they've even spoken. It's something that the kindest people can have without the need to be loud or forceful. It's something that we sense around people that are in touch with this inner power. It's like the yin and yang qualities of power. Sometimes it is a more softer approach, yet it's no less impactful, as opposed to the constant, more physical, forceful, dominant yang nature of power that we so often commonly see play out. And of course, we see this in some of the examples of leaders that we have, whether that's a more yang approach. And let's look at the COVID-19 pandemic as an example, and the leaders of our countries. So there was a lot of study done into this, particularly from a gender perspective, and how the different countries managed their pandemic depending upon who was in charge, and of course the impacts of that in terms of people's lives lost. And when we see a more feminine power at play, it is no less powerful, but it looks different, and there are different impacts than when there's a more forceful power over dominance approach. And I believe we can learn a lot from this in terms of our leadership, and I believe particularly as women in leadership, tapping into our power and learning what power means for us. How do we do this in a way that feels comfortable, is true to our essence and who we are and how we think, and is something that can help us unlock our potential? Because when we stand in our own power and we own what we bring to the table, that's how we unlock our potential. That's how we become the best versions of ourselves. And then, of course, the best leader for those that depend on us.